Hello everyone, Josh here with Got to Legends, bringing out another Infinite Magicraid video, and today we're looking at the Hero Spotlight for Olga. We're going to be using this video. I will have this video in the description below as well as the pinned comment, so you guys and gals can go check out the video for yourselves if you'd like to. But we're going to be doing a full hero skill breakdown as well as grading the unit out of 10 at the end of the video based on what we see here in our first impressions. Now what we're looking for the most in here is we're going to see what her base stats look like, what the skill modifiers look like when they're skilled up, the exclusives, everything. We're going to jumble it all together, talk about potential gear sets that you can run with her, some units that you could run with her, and what type of content she could be useful in, and again, give her an overall grade at the end of the video. So let's go ahead and jump right in, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel out a lot. If you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do. All right, let's go ahead and push play. Now, I do like her angelic looking design, which is great. It's fitting because she is part of the Holy Light Parliament. She's a red mark hero, which means she's going to have a type advantage over all blue mark heroes, and she's an attack type. So I'm expecting attack around 4,200, 4,300. That's kind of around the average. Let's see what we have to work with here. So her attack is 4,233, so somewhere around where I kind of expected it to be. 39,000 HP, 3,700 defense, and a little over 1,000 speed, which that's pretty solid speed. So that's good to see. Now her tags are turn meter, control, and single target damage. So this is going to be a strong single target damage dealer based on the early skills, you know, looking over them, glancing at them rather, from the patch notes. But now we get to see what the skill up percentages are. So Skill 1 is going to be doing 300% damage, upwards of 350% if you meet her other conditions, which of course are attacking an enemy with an attribute debuff or an enemy under control status, which means a freeze, a silence, a stun, horrify. So there you go. Potentially up to 350% damage on a skill 1 is pretty big. Okay, let's keep going. They're going to show the skill in action here. Boom. Again, the unit looks really cool. She looks really cool. I like her design a lot. So we have Sacred Winds, her active skill, skill 2, 3-turn cooldown. Grants self damage immunity and control immunity. Now these are huge. Now you cannot apply a control debuff on her, and she won't take any damage at all. That is pretty big. It's for 1 turn and then pursues and attacks one enemy target under control status 1 time. Now if you look at her skill ups though, it gets a little bit interesting. Becomes a 3-turn cooldown, which is good. Obviously that's kind of standard with this game. It's like a 3-turn cooldown and a 4-turn cooldown on the ult. It's kind of how most of the units are, at least from what I'm seeing. But she pursues and attacks 1 more enemy for level 2, level 3, and level 4. Does that mean she's going to pursue and attack up to 4 enemies? My big question is, can she do that 4 times to the same enemy? Because if that's the case, she's going to be very powerful in boss fights because she's going to be attacking so many times. But well, actually scratch that because it requires control status. So no, she's not going to be good on boss fights then, because you can't really inflict them with control status. Like the guild boss or most of the big boss stages at the end of different types of content, they're kind of immune to those things. So those pursuits are going to be a bit of a waste on them. However, she will have lots of potential for clearing out waves, you know, clearing the trash around the bosses perhaps as well. So she's going to have a lot of value there. She's going to be able to go in and just spam attack multiple units, clearing waves for you, clearing the trash around the boss, and allow your other units to do their thing. So it's still not bad. If it wasn't a control status requirement, it was something more, you know, manageable for bosses at least, she would have been really strong in boss fights, I feel. But, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, that you can't really hit a boss with it, it kind of doesn't she kind of doesn't work for that particular type of content. So, but again, you know, stages with bosses and trash and waves, excellent. A place that's like straight up with a boss in it, like guild boss, maybe not so much. So, but again, very interesting. She gets a control immunity and damage immunity, and that goes up to 2 turns with her exclusive level 1, which is very strong. Olga acts 1 extra turn after casting it, which is also pretty big. So that's a very interesting skill too there, for sure. Just sucks that she's not going to really be able to utilize that on bosses. But again, on waves, it's going to be huge. Okay, so she just attacked 2, 3. So it looks like... Okay, so from what I could see, it looks like she was attacking 1 time each to every enemy that had a control effect. Which makes me think if there was a single enemy, she won't attack them multiple times. Which means she kind of really needs waves and multiple control effects to be able to be applied to multiple enemies for that skill to be fully taken advantage of. At least from my early impressions here. Again, you know, we'd have to test it out and see what it does on 1 single enemy, but it definitely looks like it's just 1 attack per enemy, which is unfortunate because that kind of really hurts the value of that skill, like a lot. So the more I'm thinking about it, the more that skill might not be looking as good as, you know, I first originally thought. But again, I could be making mistakes here. Obviously, we haven't been able to test her in all these situations yet, so that could change. But again, this is all being based on my first impression, so keep that in mind. Relax. If I miss something, we'll always correct it later on. Olga takes 25% less direct damage when she is attacked by heroes with countered marks, so blue mark heroes. Olga has an 18% chance to pursue and attack 1 time after an ally casts skills that deal damage proactively. Now I'm assuming that's like other units that have like counter attacking or their own pursues. I'm assuming that's what that means. Maybe we'll get a little better idea of it if they showcase the skill itself. But that's going to go up another 12%. So that's pretty good. So you're going to get the 18% originally, goes up another 12. That's solid. That puts it at a 30% chance, which isn't terrible. And it's a passive too. So very good. All right. Let's keep going. Let's see how this works, this proactively. It says Olga has a chance to pursue an attack 1 time after an ally casts skills that deal damage proactively. So it's crucial to choose her best teammates. Okay. So I am assuming that it is any kind of like a bonus additional attack is what they mean by that. Like either by a passive triggering, like a Dario, for example, where his main damage comes from his passive where he gets to use his disrupting ray. You know, I'm thinking it's either things like that or maybe additional counterattacks or other units that also have pursuits in their kit. Something of that nature. You know, one of those 3 things or all 3 of those things is what's going to trigger that. So maybe a bit situational. So I don't know. I'm kind of I like the unit initially, but now the more that I'm thinking about the team setup that you need for her and the requirements that she needs to activate certain things, I'm really not liking her quite as much. I'm kind of souring on her a bit. I know, I'm sorry, but it's just the way I feel at the moment. Let me know what you guys and gals think in the comment section below. As always, we are here for discussion. It's fun to have. Deals 4 stages of 100% attack damage, which is going to go up an additional 45%. So 145 times 4, very solid damage on an ultimate for a single target. The first 3 stages of attack reduces the target's turn meter by 15%. So that's 45% turn meter reduction, almost half of what their turn meter is. And the 4th stage inflicts silence for 1 turn unconditionally. So there is no condition, there's no percentage required. He's just going to inflict it. Not bad. And then her exclusive level 2, and this is on a 4-turn cooldown, obviously. Her level 2, Olga deals 20% more direct damage to Eternal Sect and Doom Legion enemies and takes 20% less direct damage from them. Is this the first time we've seen a faction-based buff for damage and mitigation for damage in a kit? Or is there other units out there that I'm just not thinking about right now? If there is no other units, this is like a first. This is like a new mechanic in the game. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure some of you out there have used a lot of different units that aren't coming to mind right now. You can let me know in the comment section below if I'm wrong there. But this is either a first in the game or I'm just missing something. At any rate, this would be a rare occurrence to see this. So interesting, very interesting. But again, it plays more into situational. She's starting to become a very situational unit, a very niche character that needs a lot of specialized things to work to make her full kit, you know, kind of showcase itself in the battle. And I'm not sure I like that, because the game's already hard enough to build certain things. I don't want to be put into a box, okay? Let me out of the box. You're putting Olga in a box right now. Olga pursues and attacks targets one time after casting Light Forged Arrow. Well, that's cool. So she gets a pursuit after using a nice sized ultimate. Not bad. Now, it doesn't say there's any other weird requirements for that pursue either. It's just attacks one target. So, okay. So at least that's not situational. Thank goodness for that. She don't need any more. That's for sure. All right, let's keep going here. Let's see her ultimate in action. Very nice. Unconditional silence is always good. Obviously, again, it's not going to be very effective on boss fights. So she's definitely not going to be a boss killing unit or helpful in boss situations. But in wave clearing, she should be pretty solid. Even with all of her limitations and situational things and all of that nature, she still seems like she's going to be pretty solid in waves. PvP, she should be pretty strong as well, because unconditional silence, strong single target with lots of turn meter reduction. And by the way, we missed it here. The first 3 stages reduces turn meter by 25% each on her level 3 exclusive on her ultimate. So that's 75%. If you zero it out by the 4th stage, she gets to do a silence that cannot be removed for 2 turns. So PvP, wave clearing, she's looking pretty good in those regards. I think she's going to be excellent in those. If you have the right team for her, like the perfect setup, she's going to be amazing. But making that team specifically built around her to make her work, to be able to fully utilize her kit, to get all the pursues off and all that other stuff, that's going to be a bit of a challenging aspect to her kit that I don't know if I'd want to really invest into long term. Because if any of those things just start to go south at any point, the whole team kind of falls apart, because you're building the whole team around that specific unit to make her work the way you need her to work. Now, it's saying recommended here is attack, crit rate, crit damage. That's to be expected. That makes me think that you probably want to run her on either a wild set or a slay set with all of her pursues. All right, let me just say this real quick. If you build a team around her that can utilize all of her pursuits, or pursues rather, whatever, or extra attacks, then a leech set would be very good for her. So you could put her on maybe Bloodthirsty, which is going to be attack with leech. Or you could even put her on a fearless set. Even though you're not going to be utilizing the mastery percentage, you will be able to utilize the leech and the crit rate from that set. Otherwise, I think slay set is going to be more ideal, in my opinion, because you're going to be getting that crit rate, that crit damage. You can get your attack percentages from artifacts. You can get that from, substats, obviously, on all your gear and other means. Not to mention, you're going to really want to make use of that crit damage anyways, because you're going to be getting 24% of it as the A5 emblem upgrade. So there you go. And you can get crit rate from other means. You can get crit rate from auras. You can get crit rates from your first artifact. Obviously crit rate from the gear itself. There's 3 types of gear that I've already mentioned that have crit rate in it. You got your fearless set, 15% crit. You have your wild set and your slay set. All 3 of those gear sets have crit rate. But again, that's if you're using her just kind of in a vacuum. If you're using her with a team built around her specifically, then I'd probably recommend trying to get some leech on her as well, because she's going to be doing lots of attacks at that point, which means lots of potential for self-sustain. So that's my opinion on it. Now, overall grade for this unit, if you have, I'm going to do an asterisk for this one. I'm going to kind of break this down twice. If you have the best team suited for her and her needs to really make her do everything you need her to do and utilize her full kit, she's an 8 out of 10, maybe 8.5 out of 10 easily. But that's a big asterisk, because that means you have to build a team specifically fitting to her needs, because she's a very needy unit to utilize her full kit. If you're using her in a vacuum just to do whatever she can do, and she's just a plug and play character inside your already established team, which is going to be the case for a lot of you, unfortunately, I have to drop her down to a 7 out of 10. I kind of wanted to go as low as a 6.5, but I feel that she's still going to get a lot of use out of that ultimate, especially in PvP and in clearing waves. I still think she's going to do a pretty good job at that. So I'm going to bump her up to a 7. So a solid 7 out of 10. But if you have everything she needs to build the perfect team for her, easily an 8, 8.5 out of 10, because then her kit really takes off. So that's going to be it for me. Hope you guys all enjoyed this breakdown. I know it's kind of long-winded, and I kind of questioned myself a few times. I kind of go back and forth why I'm doing these videos, because I think it's a lot of fun, and you guys and gals can kind of learn and understand my perspective and how I'm kind of gauging these units and get a better idea of kind of how I'm grading them at the end. Now, let me know what you all think she should be graded in the comment section below. What do you feel about this unit? Is she good? Is she bad? Too situational? Too niche? Whatever. Let me know all that and more in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, check notifications, join me in the Discord in the description below. As always, go ahead and drop a like on today's video if you do like the content, want to see more of it. Share the video as well. It all helps the channel out greatly. Helps our little blue dragon get nice and fat for winter as well. And I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, peace.